They're in discussions, but they haven't committed to actually joining. So what we thought about is having them pay. They didn't like the price we gave them the first time, so we're still cussing and discussing.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live on YouTube and I'm gonna resume recording. John. You need an ion? You need a agenda?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah, language fails when you get particularly stressed.
Tired.
I think that's.
Really does. Words can't come out when you,
I know.
I was just thinking that when I got home and I'm trying to get all the stuff done before I come back out. And I'm like, where was I going? What was I doing?
I need to get my Fitbit out and put it on, see how
Or you
many
get
feet I walk.
downstairs and you think, why am I here?
All the time.
Don't even get me started.
So then you head back up to turn around.
Halfway up and you remember. Is John there?
He's
He's
trying.
connecting to audio.
Oh. John?
That stuff my mother won't eat.
Oh,
Um,
so I went down this list.
I'm gonna recommend we move you up to the top.
The rest of the list is at least invisible.
You guys hear me?
Now we get,
Yes.
Oh, and see you too,
see the top of your head.
up
Oh.
to your nose.
I just got out of the shower, I didn't even comb my hair. I just noticed.
Oh, you own it. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Better?
Yeah. Looks like you just
Okay.
came in out of a strong wind.
Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting of the South Thompson Select Board of February 20th at 4 PM to order. And Sue, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I knew you were gonna do that one, you say. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I pre-filled my minutes with North grades.
I know, I can't remember who it was. I asked someone sometime and they said, no.
Oh, yeah, I think that wasn't that long ago, actually.
No, it wasn't.
John, before we start the budgets, Hannah has something she wants to tell you guys about, or ask you a question about the generator. Would you mind if we popped in with that?
Well, let's take that up under adjustments, okay?
Okay,
This is the generator, you said?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Approval of the prior minutes. I haven't had a chance to read them, so I would entertain a motion to table
So moved.
Second,
them. All those in favor? Jeff,
Jeff, I.
Sue,
Sue, I.
John, I. And under adjustments, we have a request for Hannah to talk about the generator at the municipal building. Anything else under adjustments? And I guess we can take that up first. And Jeff, would you be willing to handle it from here?
Yeah, I can.
And
Although-
I'll try,
although
and I'll
there's-
try, and I'll try to remember that you're chairing.
Yeah, although there's nobody in the audience, so I don't think it'd be any high stepping for you to go ahead and chair it.
And nobody there or here.
And there's nobody else online either. I do have one other thing for the adjustment. We have Conservation Commission as almost the last thing on the agenda. And I'd kind of like to move that up to first.
You mean after Hannah?
Yes, after Hannah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so Jeff, I still think it'd be easier for you to chair. though.
Okay, no problem. Hannah, You have something about the generator.
Yeah, so I got a call from CMD, who is our maintenance person right now, today, that they're gonna come in tomorrow to install a MagTac, which still don't know what it is. But, I talked to the guy the mechanic that's gonna come down and do it. He said, since we fixed the fuel part of it, that they're gonna come down and do this. He said hopefully once they put the MagPack in, it should start running. And then it's if it starts running. I guess my question is, I have an estimate on how much it's gonna be for this strip. It's $670.49. I mean, do you wanna go ahead and try it or just?
Is that including the parts?
Yeah, this is all together, $670, but we already spent almost 1,900 the first time, which was over budget with what we planned. But I wasn't sure, because I'm also getting an estimate for the new generator from them. But he said, I don't wanna put this under the rug right yet. He said, if this works, then it should be okay.
Did they
But
give-
it's still old, I don't.
Did they give any idea, because last I knew, it was taking quite a while for generators to even get here. Like if somebody was buying one, it could be 4 or 5 months before they even have one. Did he give you any idea on that, when the delivery time could be for a generator?
No, he's working on an estimate right now. I think
Okay.
that's the first-
But that would be a question, I think, to know before that, because if it's 4 or 5 months, we probably have to.
Yeah, and I think it's worth, I mean, doing a repair for less than $1,000
Yeah,
rather than spending 26,000, so.
Yeah, he said hopefully with this in place and the fuel line is not dipping to where, like when it was, that it should start running again. I just didn't know if we should go ahead and do this, cause they'll come tomorrow and do it and test it and all that.
Well, I'm in
I-
favor of doing it.
I
Me
agree.
too.
I think for $600, let's try it, and then we can slow down and even if we do end up replacing it, we can do it in a much more judicious pace, for lack of a better word, and make sure we got all our questions answered, ducks in a row, and so, I
Okay.
mean, if it's gonna be 2,600, I'd start to question it, but so
Yeah, I
that's
only
where
had-
I'm,
Spent 1,900 for parts previously.
Right.
yeah, no, I realize, but
Okay, I will let them know they can come tomorrow,
Good.
but they'll still send us an estimate for a new one. just
yeah, good to
it.
have.
that's fine, yeah.
Because there's still snow coming.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the budget discussion and Conservation Commission, which is
Essentially,
old page 10, new page 1.
Now, also, did you get my email and have a chance to look at this? Even if you didn't, you could read along.
Yeah, I got it. It made sense.
There.
So we're working off the revised one that Terry sent us yesterday, is that correct?
Correct.
There's not a there's not a third revision.
Nope. Thank you. We didn't get a third.
Okay,
This was old page 10. I was having trouble finding where to place it. I like it with the color on it instead of.
I
Oh,
don't know, it's better to have.
it's hard to read the other.
Color stripes, you like color? So I can't read.
Well, mine is all, it's like gray and black and you really can't read.
No,
I'm like,
I can't read.
gosh, these glasses don't work.
I have to go through the magnifying glass,
Oh,
read what it says, right above it.
Yeah.
Go through the whole budget doing that. And all you have to do is change to orange and magic, I can read it. Anyways,
yeah.
so, leaping into the there's only really there's two increases. One is a new item, as we explained, and I don't know if you had time to read my
I did.
explanation.
I did.
And just an hour before the meeting, the, guy at, Rockland Wastewater Management called me back, so now I know what the cost would be. He wants, they have a different price depending on if they're testing fresh or salt brackish water. It's, roughly $30 for fresh and $43, that's rounded, for salt or brackish.
It's most of our salt and brackish.
I'm sorry,
Is most of our salt and brackish, most of what they're testing?
I'm sorry, I'm not following.
The water that they're testing, what kind is it?
Well, they're doing
Mostly.
Westgate River, and if they're far enough up the river,
Okay, then
fresh.
it's fresh, okay.
And then you get to where it's tidal. So I'm not sure, I'd have to ask them when they're out of town. But they're probably more brackish than fresh,
I would think so.
so. So it's good news, the price hasn't gone up any more than that, and I didn't even know that maybe some of the sample, the top sample might be fresh, and that would be $30. So. And as I said, we hope we don't have to use it at all. We hope Thomaston will continue. But it's a hold your breath situation every year. And John Fancy is no longer in a position to call the shots, so. Also, as I said, this is just a drop in the bucket of what we need to keep going with the full program, and it wouldn't break my heart if you guys decided to give us a little more money to put in that box that we hope we won't have to spend. And if that's all we have, then we have to pay for it, then we'll try and get donations, and as a last resort, we'll cut back testing. So that's what that is. And then the other change is that this year we would have liked to do more educational programs. We're not only out of money, but we've robbed Peter to pay Paul to pay for the programs we have supported this year. So we're bumping that up a bit. And then in the supplies categories, I explained, in order to be able to buy water bottles and other testing equipment, I've changed from roadside cleanup supplies to conservation activity supplies that would cover any of that. And we haven't, we don't expect, but who knows, next year we won't have as much expense for copying and other paper shuffling for the grant application.
Oh, okay.
Fingers crossed.
So that's our story on Conservation Commission. And I would like to talk a little about the Forest Preserve, but maybe we should wrap the Conservation Commission first.
Yeah.
I have one question that may or not, I'm not sure where it fits, but kind of related to this, I guess, so I'll throw it out there. I didn't realize, but when I was down this year repairing where we used to store the float, there's a big culvert that empties there that was pretty much buried. And when they were putting the float in, they dug it out and the water's flowing pretty good right there by the ramp. And it comes from the catch basin immediately on the corner by the library, the old library. But Larry Grierson tells me that there used to be an old overboard septic system that ran up kind of along your lane, Jeff, up those back row of some of those houses years and years ago. And I thought it just brings to mind, I had thought about it before and then I kind of forgot about it, that it might not be bad to test that outflow there. And I don't know if that's something that would fit in these services. I don't think anybody even knows it was there. Because it was just barely kind of seeping water out. The end of it was all pretty much buried. But maybe I'm off track and we should be looking at something else there. But it strikes me it's all tied together with the West gig.
Yeah, no, I think it sounds like, of course, that would be a safe testing site, which would bump up our cost. But.
Right, but even
it
if we
seems like valuable to check.
even if we just did it once, I mean,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I was just kind of curious because
Mhm.
and particularly based on what Larry Grierson told me, I don't know if there's I don't know. I don't know. That's why.
I can probably add to that. I think
Yeah.
the last grandfathered overboard house along that drainage there was the house I currently live in. It was grandfathered to be overboard and was overboard until I moved in. And biologist knocked on my door and said, I've been waiting for this house to change hands so I can get rid of the last grandfathered overboard one around. I was a little surprised because I didn't realize that septic was going overboard. And I ended up putting in a septic system. I think if I argued it, I could have still been grandfathered because it was still in the family, but it wasn't worth it. If I was the last one that was pumping sewage into
Gee.
the West gig, then
You don't want to be that.
then I didn't
person.
want to be that person. So
Long ways.
That is a long ways.
no, because what it does, and that was what I was going to add
Does
to
it go
it.
across the street?
It goes across the street.
Oh.
Where the Hicks Bridge used to be, which is almost across the street from my driveway, my long driveway.
Mhm.
That's where everything that's towards town, towards Rockland would flow there, go underneath the road there, and then into the West gig down there, but between, I'm not even sure which house it is, but closer to, think of names now. But anyway, it went in there, and I think after that, there isn't any left that's drained anywhere else. It still goes daylights into the West gig across the street from my house. So I do know that they were doing testing on that, and getting mine fixed did eliminate a source. So
Improve the quality.
Improved the quality, yeah.
When was that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I still think it would be prudent to maybe just have, it might be prudent to have that big culvert tested once, just,
Yeah.
so anyway, but we don't need to kill this anymore tonight, but.
Okay.
Well, having said that, I do think that, putting in 700 when we anticipate it being about 1,600 doesn't make too much sense. Going into it thinking
We're just timid.
yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do.
I'd like to just change that to 1,600, yeah.
And then if you don't
Thank
use
you.
it, that's great.
That would be wonderful. That would be great. People would breathe easier.
That makes sense, John?
Yeah, and then maybe I could lean on the Conservation Commission to do at least one test down there.
Oh, we are more than happy to do your one test. That's great.
And reserves for the Conservation Commission includes the forest reserve. That's the only thing we've got, right, for reserves.
Mhm.
That is the reserve. The 20,000,
It is what's in there right now.
which hasn't yet been touched, but
20,000.
we are hitting rock bottom.
Yeah.
Between the survey, we have met with the forester. She's working on a plan and a proposal which will include how much she's gonna charge. But with approximately 5,000 that we will, whenever Nate Beal gets done, owe him, or 4,500, because we paid a retainer, that will wipe us out in terms of the donation fund. And then we'll have the forester coming, and then as we pull together what Nate's survey shows, down the road, we're going to need legal work, et cetera, et cetera. So, if you could see your way to adding a bit to reserves or more of a cushion, that would be a comfort.
Well,
Yes.
If you remember from David's discussion on, he put that
David?
$3,171 into the fire truck repair
Oh, that-
line. And he did that to bring that fire truck reserve line up to $30,000 exactly. And right now, the fire truck reserve already has 30,870. So my recommendation is we eliminate the 3,000 into the fire truck reserve and put 3,000 into the forest reserve.
Okay. We'll go a little way.
Unless we want to make that larger, and I'm not opposed to making that larger.
Would you consider 10,000?
Here's a question, which you might not like, but, we're doing all of this to get a grant, right? I mean, this is all stuff that has to be done in order for us to get a grant.
And for the future,
Right.
for what we're gonna
The
do with the
forester
property.
is more than that. The forester is
Right.
how we're going to plan.
Right, but we can't do any of that. I mean, it's not gonna be a lot that we can do unless we get that grant to do everything else. I
Well-
thought that was the point of the grants.
The grant is to pay the town back so that it will have no,
Right,
it will not have spent anything.
but there are a lot of things that we have to do in order to qualify for the grant. But I'm wondering,
We're almost there for that.
are those grants gonna be available?
I'm sorry. The land remains future, that grant,
Are the grants gonna be available?
it's available. It's earmarked for us as long as we jump through the hoops.
And it's state money, not federal.
Okay,
Yeah, oh, right, no, yeah, right.
and it's already there.
It's already.
Yeah, it was part of the last,
Labeled us.
yeah, they're funded by bond issues that pass overwhelmingly every time they're on.
Okay,
And
right.
it's all state money.
But an important question to know the answer
Yeah.
to. Yes. Yeah, no, we are, right. We are not on the hook for a federal grant.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my question is, I think generally as a rule, when we do reserves, we do them because we have a plan to spend the money in the future for something tangible, like the reval. We know we're gonna do a reval, and the fire truck reserves, we know we're gonna need fire trucks and ambulance. I mean, probably the only one that isn't that way is the fire truck repair. We don't know exactly when we're gonna need that money, but history tells us we do. So I guess I'm okay with that, but I think we need to have a little bit better explanation at town meeting and for budget committee on what do we think we're gonna spend this on eventually. It's not like, I mean, the building reserve is kind of like, that's a little bit of a different animal. That's dealing with things like generators failing. But so that's my only thought. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I guess I'd like to see where we end up with this budget, but I do think we need to have a little better sense of not that we have to nail it down, but what are we thinking we're going to use it for? Is it for a project, or is it just there because we might need it? which I can't think of why we would need that. But anyways, I realize we need to spend some more money to get the grant, don't get me wrong, but I'm, so with that,
So,
with that,
Yeah, I looked at this more beyond the grant. I see this reserve for what we're gonna have to do to the land to have it be the recreation area that we're talking about it being. I mean, there's gonna be some significant costs associated with that going on
Okay.
into the future.
But it sounds like they need the money, most
Yeah.
of that money very soon. So,
Well, as I understand it, we weren't gonna dip into this, because right now we've got enough money to do what we need to do in the donations.
she said
No.
they're
And
almost
the-
out,
Right, almost out.
almost out,
and
and
they'll need to use some of this.
the select board gave us permission to do another appeal for donations. I'm having a bit of a struggle with my committee about they're saying, oh, well, we can't be asking people for money until tax time is over, and then, oh, well, maybe we should just wait till June to the summer people are here, and I'm thinking, not really, but, you know,
Yeah.
I'm one vote. So, there's that, which I will work on. But my sense was initially that it's a backstop right now. That we need to do a bunch of things or pay people to do a bunch of things. There's gonna be, legal fees to, for a couple of reasons, both, we really would like to combine the 5 parcels into one, which makes everything going forward simpler. And that shouldn't be terribly expensive, and hopefully neither will the other, which is having, well, getting, the easement, approved and recorded. And then getting title insurance. Once we have the easement, we can show that there's no problem with the property. We're gonna have to do an environmental hazard assessment. And the appraisal. And the appraisal, fingers crossed, is to determine whether we get the whole grant. If appraised for half what we said it was worth, we're not going to get the whole grant. Our sense was that since it's between 3 and 4 times, the purchase price was about a third of the assessment, let alone what it would have been on the market. Balance that against, it's going to be appraised for less now that we have limited its use to conservation. It's not going to be as valuable as building lots. So that we're juggling all that, but we're still hoping that the valuation comes out to be at least double what we paid. If it's less, then our grant will be reduced.
So then it goes back to what is this reserve for?
It
It
is,
sounds like you're using it as a pad to get the grant.
Looks
and
like
as
more
a
of a budget.
backstop of donations. If we can't raise the donations, it's
To
not
get
to
the
pay the
grant.
bills.
To get the grant.
Mostly to get the grant, plus the forester, which is not altogether to get the grant. It's partially.
But you can't do it without that, right? You can't get the grant without
Right.
that, so essentially it is
They all
for the
relate
grant.
To getting the grant.
And so let's just, so 20,000 is enough to get the grant.
I have to do the math, it's close.
Okay.
Well-
Then,
yeah, and that assumes nothing comes up with the environmental assessment, and that's a wild
Right.
card.
That's a big,
That's a wild
Yeah,
card. We know
yeah.
how much it will cost to do it, but if they find anything, then we have other costs.
So, I suggest, whether we got a lot to do here tonight, I suggest we put in the 10,000 as a sort of a placeholder at this point, with the idea that if we have to go back and trim a little, that we could revisit it, as we finalize this. But again, I think Jeff, you're right. I think we're in pretty good shape overall. That's my sense. Not knowing what the school is yet, but, so that'd be my suggestion, just to move us along. Because remember, I gotta leave at 6.
Right, plenty of time.
Alright.
Okay, so everybody's agreed, we'll put 10,000 in there for now.
Mhm.
But with the understanding that we may revisit it.
Yeah, understood, and,
Yeah.
you're gonna put 1,600 for the lab testing,
Correct, so, yeah.
But
so-
that's in the budget.
and there are no other changes.
No.
Correct. So
Okay.
the total for the Conservation Commission is 2370, is what I show, plus 10,000 into the
Right,
Forest Reserve.
okay.
All
Are
right.
you taking the fire chiefs out?
That's my suggestion. And just to make numbers easier, where he has, what, 5,268 for the SCBA reserve. That was to bring that one up to 15,000. And it's already at 15, so I mean, it's not at 15, it's at 10. So I just make that one 5,000. So those are my two recommendations. Eliminate the 30,
Wait, what's at 10?
hmm,
What's at 10?
the SCBA. Oh, wait a minute.
No, it's 15,000.
Yes, 15, right. He wanted to bring it to 20,000,
Okay,
right? So 5,000 will do that. That way we don't have these odd numbers. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't quite understand it, but yes, it makes sense.
So we're changing that to 5,000 and removing the repair.
Correct.
Okay.
All right,
moving fire truck repair.
yes.
Okay.
So next is page
So
28.
so we're removing that because the fire truck repair with the corrected numbers is already at where he, or above where he wanted to be. Is that correct? Okay,
That is correct.
Yeah, because we had it to make it to 30,000.
And it's at 3870 right now. Okay. General
Okay.
public safety.
and that's page 28. Thank you, Jeff.
That's up. Um. And when I first looked at this, I went, oh, we got another one that went down, but then it's missing the animal control boarding number.
Which is the same as it was last year.
It is the same.
Yeah.
So it's 2612.
What line is, oh, right there.
I think it's highlighted actually.
Yeah, I think it is too. I wrote it next to it.
Sorry, I'm doing higher math here, so it's taking me.
If I can get into my spreadsheet, I can tell you the answer. That's not what I mean. You add 26, 112 to that, it adds contract, makes contracted services 55, 540.
Oh, yeah, okay, right.
And that makes the total 72137.
72 or 71?
My computer says 72137.
Hmm.
Shouldn't it be more if we added 2612?
Oh, no, that's right, that's right. Okay, so 72,147, is that what you got?
It said 137, but it didn't seem right, and ended up in a different column. I'm not,
No, that's right.
that's right.
Yeah, 72,137. Okay. Which is still a significant decrease. Right, looks like a 10,000, almost $10,000.
Dispatching fee is 52,928 instead of 63,257.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It should be what?
It's correct in
It's
this.
correct, it went down. from
Oh, it
last
was
year, which
wrong.
shocked me.
Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it wasn't wrong, was it?
No, it's
No.
not wrong.
Okay.
No, I was just trying to figure out why the overall budget on that line
Yeah.
decreased by almost 10,000, and that's the answer.
But I have a question on that. I mean, that whole area makes me a little nervous. I mean, if Rockland and Niles had pull out of this, I mean,
It
what's,
won't affect this budget.
okay. So they're thinking about pulling out a year from now or something like that, or?
I think it's a year from now, and yeah, I think that's when they were targeting, I think July 1st of next year. But they're already contracted, even if they pulled out tomorrow. They already owe for this year,
Okay,
because we're already in this year, January 1st.
yeah. Well, I think that's something we need to monitor closely over the next year there, because I mean, my sense is that, I mean, Rockland, I assume, is one of the larger payers.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna drag Camden, Rockport, and even Owl's Head's talking about
Right.
going to Rockland.
So
And
then,
so in future years, if they're successful, I'm sure they've probably done their homework, but the reason Rockland lost their dispatcher 20 years ago, dispatching, was because the state said you can't have a dispatch and forced us to consolidate into Knox County. And so right now, I'm not sure the state's gonna allow them to do this unless Knox County gets decertified completely. And when that happens, I think we'll all, and Rockland can pick it up, and Knox County just won't be doing it, and Rockland will. And then we'd fall probably under Rockland. So I'm a little more optimistic about our situation. I'm really leery about what Rockland's trying to do, because I can tell you that the state did not want another dispatch. They're trying to consolidate. They'd like to have 3 in the state. Right now, I think there's like 16. So it does not make sense that the state's going to authorize them to have another dispatch center.
okay, I'll defer to you. You know a lot more. You're a lot closer to this than I am, but I just, but I just wanted to put it on our radar screen.
Yeah, it is something we do need to watch. Okay, anything else on general safety? Did you?
Yes, it's minor. And it's gonna affect all of them. I haven't had a chance to go back and look at them and fix it. The Family Leave Act,
Yes.
Hannah used 1%, but 5% is coming from the employees, so we only need to budget half 1% for the town.
Oh, so,
So,
okay.
I mean, they're,
No, I
tiny
thought it
numbers.
was half and half.
Right, so
Yeah.
the town pays half, but she figured the town paying all of it in
Oh,
the budget. She used 1%.
okay.
So I just need to.
Oh,
go
you
back
said
and-
5, so I was like,
Oh,
oh.
yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
I could see the 5 in my head.
Yeah, 0.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we gotta
So
do that with ambulance and everything?
We're gonna
With
do it,
everything.
yes, all of them.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's good news.
Yeah.
That's
I
good
know.
news. I mean, it's
I
not
think
huge, but
it's another stupid
No, it
thing the
isn't.
state did.
It'll
Another
be
stupid
minor.
thing.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
No, yeah, we're just
Along for the ride.
pivots in there.
It's kind of like the whole real estate program that.
That's
they
exactly
had
what
going,
I
right?
said,
Yeah, the real estate thing and the, seniors getting,
Never have,
freezing
right.
their
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah. Network.
Stupid things that they did.
Yeah.
things that even being kind of a layperson, you could look at that and say, this is not gonna work. It's
Right.
not- It's just not gonna
Just
work.
makes no sense. Okay, next, CEO and plumbing, page 16.
I'm very there.
Gotta watch out for this one.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, nothing on that one jumped out at me.
I increased the plumbing inspector,
Yeah,
and I had written a note as to why, but my note didn't get transcribed back onto here. But basically, Terry is spending a lot more time with replacement septic systems. So, you know, he has to go out and inspect them, and so he feels that it will be the trend over the year. And he feels that more people are getting internal permits than ever used to. So that's an inspection too. So we increased his budget from 4278 to 7888.
yeah, that one makes sense.
And the other thing I added on the supplies was there's special boxes to put maps in. We have a zillion of them. And again, I had the note on my page that I handed in. I can't remember how many maps that will hold, but it would hold, you know, it'll be a start for us to put some of them away in these special little tube-like things.
Right,
So,
right.
And then I assume it allows you to label them, right?
yes,
I mean, that's the trouble now. You go look at something, you gotta, every time you go looking for something, you gotta look through every one.
oh, I've been labeling them. They've got labels
Okay.
on them. Work in progress.
I have a question on the health insurance. That went up very little. I can't remember what the overall increase was.
Yes,
Uh,
I gotta revisit all the health insurance, John.
But we don't use health insurance.
We
Oh,
don't use health insurance?
oh, yeah, we do. Okay, so that's your single.
It's supposed to be 2/3 of my single. And dental. It's
Okay,
supposed to be
but
2/3, but
but
I'm
it
not
only
sure.
went up, it only went up $50 and
Right, I know. I haven't had a chance to check that number.
okay, all right. So you saw the same issue.
Yes, there's several more health insurance issues.
Well, we only have 3, right?
Well, they're the issues.
Everybody that has health insurance, it's an issue.
Okay, but you're gonna look at that.
Yes, started to.
And what's the software?
It's, I work.
Okay, that's the
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the software you use.
to do,
Permits. Permits.
Pretty flash cards.
And that's still working out with Terry. I mean, he's, I know he has a
Yes.
full-time job in St. George and,
Sometimes I think because we're getting more, I think he gets overwhelmed sometimes and he doesn't get a chance to answer South Thomaston emails as quickly as people would like, but he seems to still be willing to do it.
okay. So I assume all this note about the health insurance, you need to double check too.
Yeah. Yep, I'm not sure that they're different from last year.
Right, moving to, town roads, page 32. Still carrying $100 for the, road commissioner.
Well, again, that's just in case. If some reason I get off the select board or whatever, and I'm still doing this, just that would just cover me for the workers' comp. I can run down this real quick if you want. Um, the wages are just kind of miscellaneous. It's just, helps me. Probably won't spend as much as we did this year. It depends on who I can get to help me, but sometimes I need help putting up signs and stuff so I don't lose my fingers. Um, um, and then culverts, we've done 21,000 this year. I don't see a lot of cross road culverts, but we got a lot of driveway culverts that we do one for a parcel that are in bad shape and are old. So I budgeted 18,000 there. The culverts are getting more and more expensive, it seems, and depending on what you do and do them, traffic control is an issue. We did a lot of ditching and berming, but we need to do some more, particularly on Waterman's Beach Road and a few other places. And we really need to do a major bushing and limbing on Westbrook Street. It's kind of growing in over there, and so that's where the bulk of that is for. Patching is patching. Roadside mowing, that's twice per year on our major roads. And striping, what was it that I wanted to restripe the safety lines on Waterman Beach Road, and maybe some of the Island Road, and maybe redo one center line on the portion of Island Road. That stuff that was the village project, we're still supposed to get reimbursed for that. That's a project for you, Terry.
It's on my list.
The FEMA, I've asked
Yep.
Hannah several times about it, but
Me too.
yeah, and we should get reimbursed for that. Workers' comp stuff, it's okay. The other stuff is kind of miscellaneous. Something's wrong with the signs. We spent more than $285 on signs. I know we have.
I've got to go through all that, John. It's a lot of
Yeah.
that's not correct.
I mean, I thought we were gonna be close to 1,500 where we are now. I mean, I've seen the invoices and it just 285 just doesn't make sense. I mean, I think there was one invoice where it was more than 285.
Check.
And the culverts are for the culverts themselves. I don't know about this carry forward stuff. I wasn't involved. And well, there's nothing there. Okay, I see. But I would like to, if at all possible, pave Grissom Road. We prepped it, we're ready. It's getting really bad. There's a couple of sections that we're gonna lose. And once we get that done, the next one would be Waterman's Beach, and I think we're a few years away from that. I mean, the one exception might be Bartlett Lane, but as long as Travis is hauling big trucks in and out of there, I don't think we should be paving it. Those are just they're just going to break up any pavement there. But Stump Dump Road is pretty new. Island Road is pretty new. Westbrook is pretty new, and we reclaimed 2 sections there. I tend to forget about Cheryl's subdivision, but I did go up in there not too long ago and it looked pretty good, but I tend to forget that's even a town road or town roads up in there. And Waterman's Beach is not bad. So, Grierson is in tough shape and I think we should do that. And then maybe a couple of years, we'll get away with holding off for a couple of years. A lot of it depends on the frost and the weather and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the snowplow contract, I didn't check that. I asked Hannah to plug that in. I hope it's correct.
I'll do the show.
So that's it. And we have some money left over in the carryover. So when we get to the revenue side, I think, and again, this is kind of weird because with this, the one thing I don't like about this fiscal year change is the construction season now laps into potentially into 2 different years. And if you get someone like a Bush guy, for example, you know, you bug them, and all of a sudden they say, I can do it June 16th. Well, that's in this year, not next year. So that's why that carryover works out nicely too. So, but I'll try to put together more of a package of kind of where we stand and what I think we might be able to get done before June 1st. And sort of and assuming the FEMA reimbursement, which I'm hoping is going to come through. That was a coastal storm climate change type of thing, and it is federal. And supposedly it's, they're ready to cut us a check, but the check doesn't seem to come. So, questions, comments?
No, I think that's good. I mean, it's still showing a bit of a decrease from last year.
We've made a lot of progress. And I hear a lot of good comments too, if that's any comfort to any of you guys.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, yeah, I get them too. And, but our paving reserve is pretty low and.
Yeah, it's gone. It's basically gone, should be gone.
Yeah, Terry shows $3,000 in it.
Okay, well, that's basically gone.
Basically gone, yeah.
Yeah.
So probably next year and the year after, we might want to start adding to that.
Yeah, yeah. And we do need to do a lot of bushing and trimming, but I had Hoppy lined up to do Westbrook, and then trucks broke down. He couldn't do it. So now Jimmy has this piece of equipment that attaches to the front of a excavator, and it does the low stuff and the bushes and the low limbs, but it doesn't do on Westbrook Street. There's some pretty good sized trees that, for lack of a better word, that should come out, or at least the limbs on them, but they're too high for that machine. So, and it's, I'm hoping that I can get some of these people to work for us. That's a struggle though.
Okay, so bottom line on that one. 436,004.
And just so you know, that paving on the Grierson Road also contemplates repairing 2 bad sections up near the line with St. George, kind of digging them out and putting a little base pavement in there. Not a major reclaim like we did on the 2 sections on Westbrook, because that street just doesn't get the traffic and the weight, but there's 2 sections where it's really broken up. And so it isn't just a matter of going over it, you know what I mean? So then they're not huge, but it does include that.
Okay, solid waste is next, page 36. So were you able to look at the numbers that Terry?
I didn't get it. I didn't get a chance to. So I think the operator's okay, the demo debris fine. The roll-off service, I don't know where, I didn't do that, those two, I assume usually Phil and the administrator do those. I do know they've gone up, but I'm surprised that actually the container rental, well, maybe I'm not surprised because we got rid of one container, but that's not a huge amount. And I don't understand why the container rental and pushing the can are together. That makes that a little confusing, but um,
Well, it's hard to know what's being spent on what. With that,
yeah, and we have that, but you gotta go back to the source documents. Um, I think it's been that way for a while, but
I think it's been that way forever, but I can break it out if you like.
well, it would be helpful, but I know you got a lot on your list, so. The $200, is that the phone?
Yes.
Oh, and electricity. And we have a meter on that building, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if $44 is, I mean, that doesn't seem like that's enough for phone and electricity.
It doesn't.
And
no,
the phone is $24 a month or $22. I mean, a 3 month period. I can't remember what it is.
I thought it was
So
I
it
thought it
doesn't
was
look-
100. I thought it was 100 plus $100 a year just for the phone or something. But
Right, it should be. So I don't, it doesn't look like there's electricity in that actual amount. Again, I've got to go through all the actuals.
Yeah,
I really.
yeah.
am wondering about a lot of them.
yeah, and just I mean, there's an electric heater in there in the winter. I mean, if it was just lights, I could see that 2 days a week, but not when that
Mhm.
electric heater's going in that little shed out there. And that's something you gotta have. Um,
yeah,
you gotta have some heat, and I don't think we should have a wood stove out there. But but so that doesn't seem right. The rest of that is okay. I guess the big thing that's missing, didn't we already buy stickers? Okay, and that's why they're not budgeted. Okay. Um, but I noticed there's nothing for disposal fees and nothing for surcharge.
I asked Phil about the surcharge today and he said they haven't been charging it. So fuel must have gone below whatever cost it was that they were charging it for.
Yeah. But they're certainly deciding charging disposal fees.
Yep. Yep.
And that's a big, I mean, that's a big number. I mean, that had gone up considerably when we were looking at. So,
Yeah.
so the
Our
other,
first blush was 60,000 for the disposal fleets.
so the other big thing that's missing here is how we're going to deal with the brush. And I don't think, assuming we don't burn, I mean, the three options are really put it in the can, which doesn't make a lot of sense because they'll take it at a much lower per ton cost. Have it done, put in the can by a local contractor in a separate can. But that turned out to be pretty expensive. And we didn't get as much in there as we thought. The other option is to burn, but I don't think that's a great option. And I don't know how we're gonna get it done, and then we gotta get people, now DEP says someone's gonna be there as long as there's any open flame, and I'm not staying out there overnight, it's scary out there. Yeah, and So the latest option I trying and haven't really got through it is again, Jimmy bought this, it's not really a chipper, but kind of a shredder that goes on. And he tried that. Um, and it worked pretty well, except the old pile has a lot of stumps and big logs and half burnt logs. And we got to get that cleaned up to get a good sense of what it'd be. But I'm beginning to think that might be the easiest way because I think like when Jimmy did the first half of the pile out there, he took all that stuff for nothing because he said he could use it for mulch. And I'm thinking there's other people that would do that as well. It wouldn't be good for like playgrounds. It's not clean enough and small enough. But then I'm also thinking that, you know, we could put some on the trails out back for the road and other people might just take it. I think Terry, you had mentioned to me when I think they chipped down St. George, which is a little different. But you said it when they announce it's ready, it just disappears, right?
Yep, that and the
Within,
mulch. I mean,
Huh?
the compost, that and the compost.
yeah, which is also something we're working on. We're working on
Oh, there's some come in.
we're
Yeah.
working on taking the compost material. I think we got permission to start it, right, Terry? I mean,
Yes, and they just wanna come down and once we've got it going to check out the facility and
yeah,
if we go over, I can't remember the number, John, maybe you do, if we go over a certain amount, we have to be licensed.
right. But even that didn't sound like a big deal.
No,
And that will take it all the grass and potted plants and, you know, kind of, um, you know, soft stemmed junk that people pull out of the yards and put in there. So that would be good. Not a lot of weight there, but, so I think we need to budget some money to, I guess my best thought at this point, and I'm thinking this through as I sit here, is to budget some money to have that pile, maybe try it for a year, just shredded with that machine that Jimmy has, and see if we can get rid of the stuff cheaply. Jimmy thought there were other contractors that might take it because they need mulching material on projects, and he said it, you know, worked pretty good for that. So, because he asked me if he could take it, and I said take it, you know, because the other option would be load it in a bin and then truck it up and pay for it to get rid of it. So, you know, the shredding. So, I don't have a good sense at this point, but I think we're talking 6 to 8 grand, somewhere in that neighborhood, assuming we can get rid of everything for free. I mean, we've really done it cheaply over the years because Jerry and then me after him just burnt it, and then everybody, the fire department seemed to nobody seemed to be bugging us once it got down to a point where it wasn't, you know, flames weren't leaping in the air. You know, it would burn for 2 or 3 days and nobody seemed to care about it. But it seems those days are over based on the last DEP inspection we had. So that's the only wisdom I have to share on that. But we do need to plug that disposal fee in.
disposal.
Yeah, that's definitely there.
Move on to it. So my original thinking was to take the 40,000 up to 60,000, and it looks like we've spent 58. Well, looks like we're gonna spend almost that this year. But I think that includes some of the experimenting with the brush. So would it make sense to make that 50,000 and put 10,000 into contract services for the chipping?
Where's the 50,000?
It's not in there right now. Line, the one that's blank, 978 disposal fees. Right now, there's 0 in it. Last
Yeah.
year it was 40,000.
You want it to be 50.
Yeah, I think, I originally was thinking that would be 60, but that was including the brush in that as well.
Well, it wasn't supposed to. I really, to be honest with you, I think we need to do a little analytical work here. Um, but I think your bottom line is probably about what we're gonna come out.
Right.
But cause I thought we were gonna see, I don't know, I thought under contracted services, it was gonna be, I was gonna be able to see the money that we had spent with Jimmy to number one, when he was loading the can. And I don't know if the brush disposal fee is mixed in the 29, it probably is. So we would need to take that out before we, I don't know. It's something I think I'd need to talk to Terry about, without killing it here tonight, but I think you're on the right track, Jeff.
Okay. Well, so until we do some more analytics on it, my recommendation is that we make that disposal fee line 50,000. And add a line under contract services for chipping.
Well, brush removal, I guess, but maybe we should have two disposal lines, one for brush and one for um
Oh, you wanna do, okay,
one for um but I don't know, but if somebody takes it, we won't have a cost there. No, I guess you're right. Put it under contracted services.
okay,
What do you wanna call it? Brush removal?
No, just brush shredding, I guess. Yeah.
Brush removal?
Yeah, my sense is, based on the pictures I saw in Jimmy's bill, that's gonna be our best bet, assuming we can indeed get rid of it for nothing. And I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't store a pile of that there for a while either, if we're not burning.
right,
And, maybe the concept, I mean, if I had a tractor, I'd love to put some on that wet road that leads back to, on the town land that leads back towards the Smith property, but, we'd have to hire someone to do that, and I don't think that necessarily would come out of this budget, but anyways. So, yeah, that sounds good. But I think we need to do a little more work on the numbers.
yeah. So for right now, put 10,000 in,
Under shredding.
under shredding. Which take 80, take the contract services up to 85.
Put 50 in,
Put 50 on the disposal fees.
okay.
Yeah, and we might be able to, if a lot of the if a lot of the shredding cost and the hauling away cost, well, no, that won't work either. But we might be able to, never mind. Terry and I will look at it.
For fuel charge, I do think we should put something in there. Although, I mean, odds are we're not gonna need to pay anymore. Because I see prices going down as opposed to going up, but I'd like to have something in there as a backup on that one. So I think $2,000 in that. That makes sense,
We were
Yeah.
paying it earlier in the year, I believe.
right?
Yes.
That's when diesel was high. Diesel's low now and it's projected to go lower.
Yeah, but my point is, I don't think we're way below the threshold in the contract. I know Terry sent that to us. If I can find it right in a second. Yeah, right here. Yeah, 451 is the threshold.
Right.
I don't know what's diesel at now.
380, 390.
Oh, well, that's better than I thought. And so 451 to 475 is 4 cents a gallon. 476 to 5 is 8 cents a gallon. And it jumps pretty quickly.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think 2,000 will cover it even if it does change. But I don't think it will.
Yeah.
There's also nothing under supplies.
Yeah, I don't know if Dana needs stuff out there. I know one thing, we gotta get him to clean that shed out. He's a hoarder out there.
Collecting stuff that might be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went in there one day and I said, man. I mean, I don't care if he takes it, but if he's gonna take it, take it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we need to do some education on too, because I've heard people go out there and bring back whole bureaus that there's absolutely nothing wrong with.
Yeah,
Get people to take it to Goodwill or the Restore or
you just put it.
Salvation Army or the side of the road, you know, by your house and somebody will pick it up.
If you put it out there, someone will pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of throwing it.
Yeah, Jerry brought me a deck patio table
Yeah,
and 2 chairs.
Yeah.
He came in one day, he says, someone dropped these off the stump dump, would you like them? I said, I love them. He took
Yeah.
them home for me.
yeah,
Yeah. We've got some that I pulled out of there, some chairs, we got them recovered. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with that, though. We can't have people climbing down in the container and.
no, but I'm just saying if we could encourage residents to.
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
that are still serviceable, maybe not to them, but to somebody else.
Right.
To take it to Salvation
Yeah.
Army or Goodwill or the Restore. Restore, I think even comes and gets stuff sometimes if it's big. But,
Yeah, and sometimes Dana will throw something stuff to the side for a day or two,
yeah,
but, but once it rains, so.
yeah. But try not to get it back there at all, is what I'm saying. If
Yeah,
it's
I
still-
hear you, I hear you, I hear
It's
you.
still in good shape.
Yeah, I mean,
So
a lot of places have for lack of a better word, a swap shop or
Right.
Right. They have one the
That-
same too.
They have a huge
Yeah.
one, it's same.
but
charge.
but you gotta have someone to man it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
the co-op is now doing a swap shop area. They've got a building out there and they're gonna start
is it for small stuff or anything?
pretty much anything right now.
so stuff that would, like furniture that would go to the stump dump could go over there? Or is it
I
gonna,
think so. I think so.
or is it
I'll
gotta be
find out
stuff that's
tonight.
acceptable to them? Cause what are they gonna
Well-
do with it if it doesn't go?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but I
Take
think
it
we've
to
got a meeting
Goodwill.
tonight. So, but
Okay.
under supplies, we're not gonna need the stickers
Right,
in this budget, right?
right.
So the only thing we might need is some kind of miscellaneous supplies. And,
yeah, like gloves, vests for Dana, maybe gloves or something.
You
Yeah, it
wanna
wouldn't
put
hurt to have, wouldn't hurt to have a few bucks in there.
$150.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Those damn vests, Christ said 20 something bucks or 25 bucks, the cheap ones. And we put a new gate on last year and then it was the gate that blocks the roll off and it wasn't there 3 days and some guy backed into it.
Yep. So do you have a total of 366,506, Jeff?
366,506. Okay.
So Terry, sometime maybe you and I think we need Phil involved. Maybe what I'll do is set up a little spreadsheet and ask you if you guys could plug in. That, and that way it'll be formatted. Because we've had, you know, and quite frankly, I'm not blaming Phil at all, because we've had a lot of different ways we've tried to approach this year, and it got very confusing, so I got confused. Okay,
All right, building and grounds.
I don't,
The mowing, we still have a question mark next to that.
page 11,
I found the contract and it's 30,000 each year for 3 years. And
Okay.
it's 75-25. That's
70,
how we budgeted, 75 for cemeteries and 25 for,
okay, so what we have right now in these, in our things are right.
you know, she had two different numbers, but.
Oh, okay,
Oh, you fix them.
all right. You
so
happen to
what
know
is, do we know what the mowing is under?
It's- It's 7,500 for the building and grounds, they gotta get back there.
Okay,
That's what
same
it
as,
was last year.
The difference she had was under cemeteries, she put 25,000 and it should have been 22,500 to make the 30.
Okay,
so we gotta go to cemeteries, which are,
So actually, under building and grounds and the mowing, she has 5,000 and it
Is
should
that
be
70?
7,500.
yeah, I got that, but don't we also gotta change cemeteries?
On the,
yeah,
And I don't know where that is, of course. It's on page 47, was it?
yes, 47.
So that should be 22.5, Terry,
Yes,
same as last year. That makes sense.
right, because it was last year, this is the second year, and then we have one more year.
And so the reason the actuals are under is we're gonna start paying him again in probably
May.
April or May.
May. Yeah,
Okay,
So that makes cemetery total 34,529.
so
before.
Yes.
what do you have done?
34,529.
19.
so we back on building and grounds?
Yeah, as soon as Terry and my numbers match. You put 22,500 or 22,500?
I put 22,500,
22,500.
22,500, yeah,
Okay. In place of the 2,500 line.
yeah, and then get 34,519.
5,1. Oh, you may have done. You updated something? If I've got 37,029. Before we made that change.
Well, what do you have, what you have for different categories, and we can see where I went wrong.
2014,
Yep,
202.
okay, benefits, I have 192, and I bet I probably fixed the medical and medical leave on that one already.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So it's 196, did you say?
I changed the medical leave to $10,
So what'd you have for a total now?
so the total is 34,519.
Okay, yeah, that's that $10, okay. Good.
I'm not writing all this down. I'm gonna wait for Terry to send it out again.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm getting it is because I want to get, it in my spreadsheet, so. Um. The only other one I've got on building and grounds. Well, I got two things. The new generator is on there for 26,000.
And shouldn't that be under equipment and not under contracted services? Or
Well,
doesn't matter?
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
you're
that's
contracting for them
I think if we were buying the generator ourselves, it would be under equipment, but if we're contracting with someone, I think it should be under contracted services.
But the other thing is, I think our plan was to take it out of, if we do it, it'll be out of this year, out of the reserve
Right.
account.
Yeah. Well, she
And
said she
so-
put it in there as a placeholder.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So we can remove that over on
Yes,
the,
and then,
select board side.
and then add it back in to the reserves. The other thing, everything else looked good, but under insurance, Guilford Butler School, we've been carrying a number for that.
Yeah, she didn't break it out.
Yeah, and it looks like what we've paid building and contents includes Guilford Butler, I think. Cause we paid 5,000.
Yeah, I think she just didn't look at it to see which, to break it out. That's my guess.
So my recommendation is we do put something in there for Guilford Butler.
And I'm kind of skeptical that,
2655 is right.
right, because in the town meeting last year, we budgeted 27, 22. Of course, you look at 5098, you don't really know how much we paid.
Right.
Why would that be so high, the 5098?
Well, we
Because
think,
she has building contents and Guilford Butler School
Oh, together,
together.
okay, gotcha.
Well, I don't understand why we break out Guilford Butler. We don't break it out.
we asked him to a couple of years ago when the budget committee and other interested folks in the town wanted to know what the costs were for
Okay.
Guilford.
Because we don't do it with the other buildings. I mean, we lump the salt shed and the town office and the Little Red Schoolhouse and
Right, it was all, and if you look under utilities, we've got separate lines for fuel, oil, electric, and phone for Guilford Butler as well. so.
yeah. Yeah, so
Do we need to continue
can I
that?
ask a question on the well, I'd rather start at the top if we could.
Okay,
I don't understand why the custodian is so little. On the
Because
actual,
that is, Donna, I feel. She cleans 1 hour a week at the library. We pay Brenda through accounts payable,
oh, because she has a cleaning service
yes,
and she has insurance and stuff like that?
yes.
Okay. And then,
So do we need to
So-
leave that at 2198?
I don't know, we're gonna have to get someone else in there to clean.
Or
up.
she can't do it?
No.
Okay.
who are we talking about?
Donna,
Oh,
I don't know how much, we really need someone in there to clean.
well, I think we need someone in the town office,
Brenda cleans, she's the
really?
best cleaner we've had.
She is a good cleaner.
and she goes downstairs more often than the previous ones did.
Oh, okay. I guess my eyes are bad.
Doesn't take longer to get messy.
Just gotta clean your glasses there.
But under the boilers, there was no, oh, because they're new. So there was no service money spent on them.
Right, and Guilford Butler's annual service hasn't come up yet. Although I think they did something down there and it should be underneath there for actuals, but again. I don't
Okay,
know.
so in this case, it does include Guilford Butler.
Yes.
See, this is all very confusing. It's broken out in some places, but not enough. I'm not blaming you, Terry. Don't get me wrong, but
I think it'd be easier just to lump everything together.
and then, yeah. But I know Jeff's point. Then someone's
Yeah,
gonna
oh, I
ask
know.
how much.
Well, and you
Someone's
know
gonna,
there's somebody,
There'd
right,
be someone that wants to know.
yeah,
but it
and
seems to
they
me,
probably,
if we're gonna do it, we should do it for all of them.
but these are probably categories that nobody would thought would be different, maybe.
Yeah. We also need to pump out the septic tank at the Little Red Schoolhouse, and there's no money in there for septic tanks to be pumped.
Yes, we do.
And I don't know if, actually, we're a year late on that.
Yes, we are.
And that's gonna be a project because it's under the damn hot top, so someone's gonna have to cut the hot top to get it open, pump it out, and then repave the little patch area. But, so I don't know how much that'll be, but that needs something there, and I don't know where we stand with ours. Guilford Butler was pumped last year.
Right, ours needs to be pumped in 27, I believe.
Okay, and Guilford Butler was pumped last year.
Yeah,
And trash removal is only $140 actual?
John, don't look at the actuals, please. You can't go by them right now.
Okay. Well, it's hard to do.
Well,
Yeah.
I know, but I'm telling you,
She couldn't do this in one day.
yeah.
So are we gonna put a number in for septic tanks?
I
I
think
would
we
think-
should.
Do we know what it costs to get one?
I just
right
had
now?
mine pumped and it was $650.
Yeah,
And if we need to do any little bit of work to it, do we need to add some?
yeah. I'd say 1,500.
Okay. Did you change the mowing from 5,000 to 75?
I did, yes.
Now, this generate, and here, I said ignore the actuals, but the generator maintenance, I know we've spent more than $925 on that. I think the bill I saw was 18 something, so that actual I need to find it.
Well, yeah, she told us 1,900 earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And so does generator maintenance, does that include, I assume that they come every year to check it?
yes,
So does that, is that in the maintenance or is that someplace else?
that 925 was to have them come check it and a little extra in case there was an issue.
Okay,
So I don't know, I don't know what I don't know, but I don't know that.
we know that 1,900 has been spent and probably,
And it's probably somewhere else, maybe under facility maintenance, I don't know, that doesn't look like a lot either.
but if we're gonna have a new generator, there shouldn't be anything more than whatever it
Oh.
costs for,
yeah.
There'll be a service,
right?
Right,
yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to make any judgments here because custodian is that's where Brenda is.
right.
Okay,
Now, the notes on the generator maintenance says 375 for the for the yearly contract and $550 for unanticipated repair expenses. So if we're gonna get a new generator, we could probably, throw $500 in there instead of 1,000.
I would think so.
Yeah, because it'll be under warranty
Right.
the first year anyway. I'm for that.
Or assuming that you get the quotes that they might include that in there.
Did we actually budget that? I don't, the 19,000 for the new fire alarm system?
We did last year.
We never did it though, did we?
No, and I keep telling David to do it.
Or the one that he wanted.
Yeah. He says, oh, I didn't know I had the money. And I said, well, I told you that before, so.
Who is this?
David, well.
Oh. So is he still planning on doing it this spring, do you know, or?
Yes. Every time I mention it, he says, I'm gonna do it.
Okay. I just don't feel like we have a good handle on this year. That's all I had of building it around.
Yeah, I think under Guilford Butler's, the insurance for the Guilford Butler, we ought to put 2,700 in there.
Oh, I see, she didn't. I see. Yep.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. And then try to split out that actual,
Yeah, I'll work on that.
yeah.
I just noticed in my spreadsheet, dues, fees and travel wasn't total. I don't know if it is yours or not.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
So the question is it in the total down below?
Doubtful.
Doubtful.
Yeah, it used to anyways. It would total down below with the subtotals,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how it was set up.
but that was when Barbara was here. It's been messed with a lot. It really needs a good cleaning, but that's another year.
Another town administrator.
We have a reserve on this too, right?
yes. Right now. Can't get my numbers back now.
Cold up there today?
Not too bad.
Not compared to what it's been.
Cold here today.
So what was it, 60?
57, but it was a wind. It was not a warm day for this time of year.
Okay, Terry, you got a number? I got 71, 225.
I got 74.26.
Yeah, but have you changed the family medicals? And
No, I don't think I had on this one. Well, let's talk, Jeff.
Okay, so I've got adding 1,500 for the septic tanks. Adding 2,500 for the mowing. Oh. It's subtracting 500. So that'd be 1,000. So 70,000, 225.
I had 74.26.
26.
What are your totals?
Okay, so 3798,
Yeah,
328.
yeah.
I don't have a total for that one. Oh, that would be 1,000. Five, 4, 785.
For contracted services?
Oh, no, gotta
I
subtract
have 37.85.
26 off of that. 8. I got 28,785.
I have 15 for boilers, 15 for septic.
Yep.
520 for whatever that's next,
Yeah,
415,
yep,
7,500,
correct.
1,500.
Yep.
1,700.
Yep.
10,000.
Yep,
500,
correct,
450.
correct. 880 for Seacoast.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't move my monitor down.
Yeah.
Yes, 880, 1,200,
1,200,
3120,
correct. And then no 26.
and I get 28,785.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, and then 25, 29.
Yep.
2359.
Yep.
30, no, 5627
Yep,
and 2,500.
yep,
Okay,
and I get 74.26, and we add it again.
oh, okay, I'll buy that. 74.25. Okay, so now reserves. Name for the building reserve. We ought to put 26,000 into it.
I think we should put a fair amount. I mean, between Guilford Butler and, as you know, that town office building is aging, and I mean, you can spend 20 grand at the drop of a hat.
Yep.
Where'd you come up with 26?
That's cost of the new boiler.
Okay,
I don't think that's unreasonable. I mean, we got two fairly good sized buildings there that are not, weren't built yesterday, either one of them. And one of our, statutory responsibilities very clearly spelled out in the state law as the Board of Selectmen is to maintain town's assets. So there aren't many things that are that clear, so.
You,
That's why someone at some point suggested that we not budget anything for the Guilford Butler, and I said, I can't support that. One of the things we're responsible for under state law is to maintain town assets, so.
yep. Be frank, if we end up buying, if we end up getting the new boiler, then all that's gonna do is keep us even.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah, so,
I mean, I shouldn't say that's what I was thinking in the back of my head that,
yeah,
and I don't think we're out of the woods on this boiler with this part. I mean, hopefully we are, but even if we are, it's still, I don't know,
We're still
25 years
having-
old, huh?
yeah.
Talking boiler or generator?
Generator.
Generator, yeah, that is what I was thinking.
Okay.
Was
Yeah.
the generator.
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
But even if we get away with this, it's still 25, 26 years old,
Right, right. All it's doing is buying us time. So I mean, I could be convinced to make that 30,000.
I wouldn't argue with you. Again, with the understanding we can maybe go back and revisit if we have to, but
Yeah. Hey, moving right along. Town landing. A little more in for repairs, that makes sense.
we need, the float needs some work. One of the float things underneath's got a hole in it. It's part of the 6x6 that holds it is rusted and rotten and so and that 1,200 is just to put it in and out, Terry?
Yes. There is no actual there. But I know it was taken out. So
Yeah.
I need to break it out of wherever it is and
Yeah, I know it was taken out and I know it was, well, it might have been put in last year's, right? No,
no, last year.
Yeah,
'cause it would've been done.
yeah. But it's gotta be put in. Oh, be
Under
put
this-
in this year's, right, yeah.
So I know there's no actual there, but I know it's out because it's out by the sand and salt shed.
Right. Well, we put it out there so we could try to repair it. And
Yeah,
we tipped it upside down. And that guy that is doing a little work for us, he's gonna try to help me with that in the spring. But I don't know what those things cost, and this is kind of six, one half dozen the other. It comes out of the town landing account and we don't spend it, it goes back into it.
Correct.
So I think we need to, those repairs, we need to bump up. I wouldn't be surprised if we need to 25, 3,000.
But again, this is next year's budget, right? So it'll be
Oh, yeah, that's right too. Shit. No, never mind. I mean, Don. Oh, yeah. Well, we may, we may end up overspending this budget, this year's budget. So forget what I just said. We need to do that this year.
That's right. Apparently, we've got more money that we can put into reserves anyway, so. Okay, and right now I'm showing zero for town landing reserve, but,
Do we need to put money in there? I mean,
Well,
I don't really-
we're supposed to put in whatever we collect in boat excise every year, and we do. But we always put in just a rough estimate in the budget.
and then when you need to do something like that float, does it come out of that reserve?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, sort of a self-funding. And the other thing that the town voted on years ago to do was hopefully if we found a piece of waterfront property that we're interested in buying, that it might serve as a part of it. Well, now it's probably part of a down payment, but, or, you know, a match money for, you know, a grant or something. If it's, but, you know, I don't know, buying waterfront property may be out of reach these days. I don't know.
eye in the sky, yeah.
So the total you have in your book. Oh, never, well, I don't know. What do you have for a total in your book? 4144 for town landing?
Yes.
Yeah,
When I look at my computer, that shows V 370 and 379 total. But when I moved it over to the select board column, I get 5231.
Hmm.
Which is 865 and I mean, 366. I can't read my computer. The $1,000 and the $87 is not in that total under department heads.
So the,
Oh, so that 4144 is,
Incorrect.
oh, yeah,
It doesn't have the 1,000 for wages and the 87 for benefits.
okay.
So the total I get is 5231.
you know, the actual are wrong there on wages too, because Tyler and I spent 4 or 5 days part-time days redecking that.
Yeah.
And he worked there more than an hour and a half.
Yep.
I mean, that was the biggest project he did with me.
Yep.
And I don't see where the money is for all the pressure treated lumber we bought to redeck that. Maybe
Well-
that's the, huh?
500? Is that the 500?
Maybe, but that's an awful coincidence that you buy a bunch of pressure treated lumber and it come out to be $500, but it could be. I mean, that doesn't buy a lot of pressure treated lumber either. Just
Okay, 5231. And
what did we put? Okay.
I'm putting
What do we-
0 in.
What did we
in the
change?
reserve. We didn't,
We just added it correctly.
Okay. So why would we put 0 in the reserve?
because I think at most we're only gonna get about 6,000.
Huh?
So last year we budgeted 6,000 to get in boat excise, but in December, we only collected 951.
Yeah, but the boating season's coming up.
Right. But I still don't think it's gonna be more than $6,000.
No.
It hasn't been
No.
traditionally,
Yep,
so it really makes no sense. It just adds a complication to.
I agree,
to all
I
the
agree.
spreadsheets. Yeah.
To
All the
be honest,
spreadsheets.
to be honest with you, I don't even think that it should be kind of in the budget, but that's another,
Right, yeah, exactly, because.
you know, because it's a
What we exceed is
self-balance,
gonna go in there,
right, it's a self-balancing account, so to speak, you know,
exactly.
but let's not go there.
Okay,
But I don't know, 3,000, what's the reason, what have we been collecting?
less than 6.
My recommendation would be have Terry plug in whatever we collected last full year in vote excise.
And last year we budgeted 237.
What?
Yeah,
because it's vote excise minus the budget.
right,
Oh, yeah, okay,
which is why I'm saying just don't put anything in it,
Right.
don't budget anything into it this year.
Right, because it just
Okay.
goes in automatically. That's a good move, Jeff, that's a confusing thing to
Yeah.
explain.
that is a good idea. And just yeah, okay. Although
So
someone's gonna say how much is in the town landing reserve.
And we will tell them
Okay,
that
I
it
think I
is
I need to turn,
156,000.
I need to turn a light on. It's getting dark, not dark, but
156,284. Okay, administration, almost done, John.
yeah,
We're not gonna do this one in 10 minutes.
Huh?
We're not gonna do this one in 10 minutes.
Oh, we're not.
No,
No, we're not.
should we? What are we doing?
what's the matter?
We're not gonna do the administration budget in 10 minutes. 9 minutes now.
Oh, we'll be close.
Okay.
So Terry, help me out. So
Yeah.
the town administrator is in a salaried position, assumed 40+ hours.
Yes,
The assistant to the administrator is Phil,
yes,
and he's budgeted at 35 or 30, 35 and a half because he works Tuesdays or some, whatever it is, right?
correct.
So it's like 36 or something.
Yeah,
And then you are the one that at 19, is that, or are you the other one?
no, I was the one at 19.
Okay, so that was on average 10 hours a week supposedly.
Correct,
And then the other one was the part-time clerk we were gonna get in that we never really filled.
Bill
did we?
now.
Well, we did fill it for a while,
yeah, Cheryl Lynn was there for a while.
yeah. And that
Hannah's in
was,
it now.
right, and that was budgeted at 15 hours a week, right, on average.
Correct.
Okay. So I guess my question to you is, do we need to revisit that structure? I mean, if we hire someone to replace you, I assume want to go back to where you were. Phil's
Yep.
Phil,
Yeah,
and then we have the part-time clerk.
which is Hannah, which, yes. That,
She's
that will work
interested in that
perfect.
job.
She said she is,
Yeah,
and she,
so why don't we just need to add the COLA and we're done?
for that section,
Yeah. But no, actually, I have a suggestion. I think, and I've thought this for years, and I think it more and more, I think we need to pay someone to take minutes.
oh, I think that's a wonderful idea. They could start now.
No, yeah, and there's money for it too, if we could find somebody. But I think it's very, very difficult to participate in the meeting as a town administrator and try to keep minute notes. So
Yeah.
you end up doing your minutes based on going back and looking at the tape or the recording, wasting a lot of time.
I agree.
So I would propose we,
Good luck finding someone.
huh?
Good luck finding someone.
I know. But if we don't have any money to pay someone, we're definitely not gonna find someone.
Correct.
I don't hear any roaring endorsements there.
Well, no, I'm for it. I'm just thinking about how to calculate it.
Well, I don't think we'd need it for little meetings.
Yeah, we never know what'll, but it's gotta be a
Right.
little one or a big one.
No, I meant like actually even tonight, I don't think you'd necessarily need someone, or if we meet on a personnel matter, a single agenda item, which always turns into 3 items, but for the regular meeting, so I think if you kind of just calculated based on,
Two
um,
meetings a month.
say 14 meetings, for a little leeway. Times 2.5 hours. Is that about what we meet usually? Or 3?
Yeah,
And then you gotta probably add an hour to type them and add it back. Maybe an hour and a half. I think that would be a stab in the dark at it to start with.
yeah, I think I'd go to 20 meetings. There's rarely a month that we only do one, although we have done.
Oh, yeah, sorry. When I said 12, I meant 24.
I think we could probably go with 20 in 4 hours. It's 80, that's 80 hours.
So maybe 100, maybe 100 hours at,
100 hours.
I don't know.
What did you pay
At 20 is
before?
$2,000.
We've never had anyone do admin minutes.
But for the planning board, what is that figured on?
Hannah did it, she got paid what she was paid to work the counter, it was 19 something.
We did have, the planning board did have somebody that we paid for a short amount of time.
Yeah, well, didn't we pay, Linda Garrett?
Yeah, yes, and then Hannah did them
Yeah,
for the planning board.
and Linda did an excellent job. It was almost like reading a transcript. But I don't think she's interested.
No, she didn't want to come back to the planning board to do it.
No, I know, I get it, but it seems to me some young person would be a little mad money for him or something. I don't know.
I think you'll have a hard time finding someone to do it.
Yeah.
I do too. I do too. But I know we're gonna have a hard time if we don't have any money to do it.
So $2,000?
I don't know. Sue, you seem skeptical that we should
That we-
budget it.
I just don't think you'll find anyone to do it. I mean, I'd like to take it off Terry's plate or whoever else is there, but I guess it doesn't hurt to put it in.
Will you put it under wages, John?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so on health insurance, that assumes a single for the town administrator
Yeah,
and a family for to make it easy, Phil.
Yep,
And then the next one is based on your allocation of 10 hours, right?
Right.
And we can drop the retiree,
yep.
which you did, okay. Okay,
Correct services. Oh, it's a
so how come we hit, no, did we pay for you in the spring?
Yes, we pay it in May.
Okay. And is that 13 a firm number? Do you know that, did that come from them? You probably don't know.
I don't know. And I didn't get the vision number yet from assessing.
And the printing again is town report, which will happen in the spring.
Yep,
We spent 3,197 last year and there's only three in there. Should that be like 34 or something or?
I don't even know if he's found someone to do it. This person that did it last year isn't doing it.
Well, what's our actual for last year? We put in 3,197.
That's probably pretty close, because, I mean, that's probably real, because it's a definite number.
Okay.
That there's no really way.
And we won't do that until May, right? Or
Paper in May, yeah.
Do
do
know
we
where
even
else-
need, I hate to broach the subject. Do we even need a paper town report?
What do other towns do?
I don't know.
Should
Do
we
we-
find out?
Do you want to go without a paper town report, John? You will have a revolt on your.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Shut
How
up.
many are
Bad
you-
idea.
how many-
Bad idea.
But how many are you left with every year?
We were left with a box this year, so I think we can cut it down. But I
Out
think,
of how many?
uh,
Like how many out of how many?
I think we ordered 800. Oh,
And we're ended up with what, 50 or?
I think the box has like 80 in it. So I think we can cut it back. So maybe the 3,000 will be enough if we cut it back, not have to increase it. But yeah, I don't think you can go without having one. honestly.
I don't think so. I think most of the towns do a printed town report.
I know I like having. Okay, I'll shut up. What's up? I think the advertising is high.
Well, you go, it depends on, ads have gotten very expensive.
I know, but we budgeted 1,000, spent 161, we budgeted 1,000. We're gonna spend more because of town administrator ad, but well, okay. Never mind.
Well, hopefully we won't need one next year, so maybe we can.
Right.
Oh, we're gonna get one this year, it's gonna be done.
Is there anything in here, Terry, that's that we need voting stuff?
No, we're good with voting.
And which two computers are we talking about replacing?
I don't know which ones did she leave it, did she put a note? I don't know what one she's talked to Gus about.
There's no money in there for, is there? Am I not looking in the right spot?
A little lower, replace 2 computers. Last, that 15-minute block.
Oh,
I'm using 7 computers. Which is,
I
So
don't
we had,
see,
we had replaced 2 computers last year.
It would replace the town administrator and the code enforcement last year.
Okay,
So the two needing replaced is the assistant clerk and the deputy clerk.
yes, so that would be, yeah, okay. There is a note there. I'm good with it.
Plus add the 2,000 and whatever that comes out with for benefits. So I get 270, 815.
on the computers.
To be honest with you, I feel like we need to, kind of do what we've done here the last 2 days. Give Terry some time to look it over and fix things, reallocate things, send out another, for lack of a better word, draft. And
I
maybe
think we need to add more in postage and lien costs, because postage is going crazy.
Oh, good point.
yeah, well, I'm talking the overall picture, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Because I just think there's so many questions here that it's hard to finalize anything. I hate to say it, but I think we need another meeting in maybe like 10 days. When's the budget committee meeting?
I agree. It's not till April, so I think, we do need to have another one to. So I can fix the actuals and really review it. I mean, I've gone through it. I do think postage and lien cost needs to be changed. I have questions about general liability, public officials liability. She didn't increase them, and I can't imagine. Well, maybe she did a little, or she did what the actuals were, so I would think that they're gonna be a little higher. I don't know if she called, maybe they said we're not gonna have an increase over what you paid this year, but I doubt it.
Yeah, and I think you need some time, and you haven't had it.
Right.
No, I haven't.
So
And
when
we
we
need
go-
to, and I think I need to work a little bit with you and Phil on stump dump, and I just think we're not really, in my opinion, we're not ready to finalize this.
I agree.
And I gotta go.
So do we want to set the next meeting? Or do we want to wait?
I mean, Jeff, do you think that's a good idea or?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
Oh, and there is another thing on your budget that it doesn't really matter for our purposes tonight, because we're gonna go through it, but I did notice the assessments for the Knox County tax, that's 82,927, and that's the dispatch fee, not our county tax. Our county tax is like 440 something thousand. If you look at your budget on assessment, it's on page 51. So it's gonna change the budget
Dramatically.
yeah, but that's not really our budget. It's like the school assessment, we pay it.
Yep,
It's
still have to,
it's part of our bottom line.
right.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but I mean, we have two choices, pay it or get taken to court and have a judge order you to pay it.
Right, so we want to at least have to, looking at the correct number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree, but we got nothing to debate about it, but thank you for
Oh,
catching.
no, we just need
Yeah.
to stick the
Right.
right one in, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it needs work, I'll work on it, let's pick a date when we want to review it, and then I have a deadline.
Very, very quickly before we jump to the date. The only other reserve that we haven't done anything with is the reval reserve.
Oh, yeah,
And I think we're gonna need some money in that. We've got 118 in it. And I think the estimate we got from them was 128, is that right?
No, it was more than that, wasn't it?
Don't think so. It wasn't much more than that. But I don't remember because the numbers got jumbled in my mind. But I do think we ought to put in at least 20,000.
I think we should pull out the contract and look at it at that next meeting. Unless you got it right there.
I do not. Yeah, that makes sense.
So when are we looking at for next meeting? March?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've got our regular meeting on the 10th, which is a Monday. Want to do it on the 13th, Thursday?
yeah, I can, that actually would work out good for me. And Terry, does that give you enough time?
Oh, I think so. I mean, if I have to just do that and not do anything else, if it gets to crunch time, that's what I'll do.
You want to do 4 o'clock?
Yeah, that sounds good. Sue, that work for you?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, I just wanted to
Debt
say,
service, debt service is the only thing we haven't done.
yeah, and that's the same thing. I mean, it is what it is, right?
Right, exactly.
And the actuals are definitely wrong there.
Well, no,
Under light loan.
in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
year,
No, the actuals for street light loan is wrong.
Hank, excuse me 1 second. Hello? Yep, hello. Okay, I'm almost done. Are you driving or walking? Yeah,
We already knew we could do a Monday meeting, right?
okay. Yeah.
Yes, I wouldn't have nasty.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Hey. Just wrapping up.
That's fine. They all abandoned me.
Okay, so
Okay,
we're doing
anything
the
else?
13th at 4, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. I'm leaving. I just got a phone call. Where are you?
Yeah. We tried to get you out here.
You're
Take
15
longer than 10
minutes
minutes.
Bye.
Okay, so without objection, we are adjourned, I think.
I'm not objecting.
You want that?
Yes, I love that.
I'm not objecting.
I'm not.
All right, let's stop this meeting and stuff.
Terry can't wait to get.
Let's start the next meeting.
Are you staying for the next one?
I'm
Oh, you're in it.
Yes.
You're,
Yep.